Have you ever walked out to your garden on a crisp fall morning and found your tomato vines blackened overnight, your basil wilted into a sad, translucent mess, as if someone flipped a switch and ended your growing season while you were asleep? That is exactly what an early frost does, and if you have gardened for even one season, you already know how heartbreaking it feels to watch weeks of care disappear in a single cold night. The good news is that an early frost does not have to mean the end of your harvest. With a little preparation, most of your vegetables, flowers, and fruit plants can sail right through those first cold nights and keep producing for weeks, sometimes even months, longer than you would expect. The tricky part about early frost is that it rarely announces itself the way a hard winter freeze does. It sneaks in on a clear, calm night, usually when the daytime temperature has been mild and gardeners let their guard down. Clear skies at night allow heat to radiate away from the ground quickly, and if there is little to no wind to mix the air, cold settles right around your plants like an invisible blanket. That is why you can have a perfectly pleasant 65-degree afternoon and still wake up to frost-covered leaves the next morning. Understanding this pattern is the first step to protecting your garden, because it means you can often see frost coming a day or two in advance just by watching the forecast for clear, still, cool nights, especially once overnight lows are forecast to dip into the mid-30s. Not every plant reacts to frost the same way, and knowing the difference can save you a lot of unnecessary worry. Tender plants like tomatoes, peppers, basil, cucumbers, squash, and most annual flowers have almost no frost tolerance at all. Their cell walls are simply not built to survive ice crystals forming inside the plant tissue, and a single light frost can turn healthy green leaves black and mushy within hours. On the other end of the spectrum, you have cold-hardy crops like kale, collard, Brussels sprouts, spinach, and many root vegetables that actually improve in flavor after a light frost, since the cold triggers the plant to convert stored starches into sugars as a natural antifreeze. Then there's a middle category of semi-hardy plants, things like lettuce, chard, and many herbs, that can handle a light frost but will struggle if temperatures drop into the mid-20s or lower. Knowing which category your plants fall into helps you decide where to focus your protection efforts, because you truly do not need to rush out and cover your kale bed at the first frost warning of the season. So what actually works when that frost warning shows up in your weather app? The single most reliable and beginner-friendly method is a floating row cover, sometimes sold as frost cloth or garden fleece. This lightweight, breathable fabric traps a pocket of warmer air near the soil surface, and depending on the thickness, it can protect plants from temperatures 3 to 8 degrees colder than the air above the fabric. The key is to drape it loosely over your plants, using stakes, hoops, or even overturned buckets to keep the fabric from resting directly on the leaves, because any part of the plant touching the cold fabric can still get frost damage through direct contact. Anchor the edges to the ground with rocks, bricks, or garden staples so cold air cannot sneak in underneath, and always remove the cover once the sun is up and temperatures rise back above freezing. Otherwise, you risk trapping too much heat and moisture on a sunny day. If you only have a few prized plants to protect, simple cloches work wonderfully. A cloche is really just any cover placed directly over an individual plant, and you likely already have the materials sitting in your recycling bin. A cut-off milk jug or a 2-liter soda bottle with the bottom removed makes an excellent mini greenhouse for a single pepper plant or a tray of seedlings. Terracotta pots turned upside down over shorter plants work beautifully too, and they hold heat surprisingly well because of the material's thermal mass. Just remember to prop the container up slightly on one side during the day or remove it entirely so the plant can breathe and does not overheat once the sun comes out. For gardeners who want a slightly more permanent solution, a cold frame is one of the best investments you can make heading into fall. Think of it as a bottomless box with a clear lid, essentially a miniature unheated greenhouse that sits directly over your garden bed. Cold frames can be built from scrap lumber and an old window pane or purchased ready-made, and they can extend your growing season by several weeks on either end, letting you keep harvesting lettuce, spinach, and other cool season crops well past your average first frost date. On sunny days, prop the lid open a few inches to prevent your plants from cooking inside, since a closed cold frame can heat up surprisingly fast even when the outside air is chilly. One of the most overlooked frost protection tricks is simply watering your garden the evening before an expected frost. Moist soil actually holds and releases heat better than dry soil, which means a well-watered garden bed stays a few degrees warmer overnight than a dry one. This is especially helpful for in-ground vegetable beds and around the base of fruit trees. Just be careful not to get water directly on the leaves of tender plants right before a freeze, since wet foliage can actually freeze faster than dry foliage in certain conditions. A deep watering at the roots in the late afternoon, several hours before sunset, gives the soil time to absorb that heat before temperatures drop overnight. Mulch is another simple but powerful tool, particularly for protecting the root zone of perennials, strawberries, and fruit trees. A generous layer of straw, shredded leaves, or wood chips acts like insulation for the soil, buffering root systems from sudden temperature swings. For young fruit trees or newly planted perennials in their first fall, mounding extra mulch around the base of the trunk can mean the difference between a plant that sails through winter and one that struggles to recover in spring. Just keep mulch pulled back an inch or two from the actual trunk or stem to avoid trapping moisture against the bark, which can invite rot and pests. If you are growing tender plants in containers, your easiest and most effective protection is simply moving them. Potted herbs, citrus, tropical plants, and tender perennials can often be carried into a garage, covered porch, or even indoors near a bright window for the coldest nights, then brought back outside once temperatures rebound. This is one of the biggest advantages of container gardening in a frost-prone climate, and it is worth grouping your most frost-sensitive potted plants together near your door in early fall, so you're not scrambling to find and carry them all at 10 o'clock at night when a surprise frost warning pops up. Old-fashioned incandescent string lights, the kind that actually give off a small amount of heat, can provide just enough warmth under a row cover or blanket to protect a vulnerable plant on a borderline frost night. This trick has been used by gardeners for generations to protect citrus trees and tender ornamentals, and it works because those old bulbs produce heat as a byproduct, unlike modern LED lights, which stay cool and will not help at all. If you have a string of older lights sitting in a box somewhere, this is exactly the moment to put them to use, wrapping them gently around branches before draping fabric or a blanket over the top. A few common mistakes trip up even experienced gardeners every fall. The biggest one is using plastic sheeting directly against plant foliage. Plastic conducts cold efficiently, and wherever it touches a leaf, that leaf will likely suffer frost damage anyway, completely defeating the purpose of covering the plant in the first place. Always use fabric covers, or make sure plastic is supported well above the foliage with stakes or hoops. Another common misstep is covering plants too late in the evening, after the temperature has already started dropping and heat has begun escaping the soil. Try to get your covers in place in the late afternoon while the ground is still holding the day's warmth, so that warmth gets trapped underneath rather than lost to the night air. Finally, many gardeners forget to remove their covers the next morning, which can cause overheating and excess humidity once the sun comes up, sometimes doing more harm than the frost itself would have. Sometimes the smartest move is not to protect a plant at all, but to harvest it before frost even arrives. Green tomatoes, for example, do not need to stay on the vine to ripen. Once a tomato has reached full size and started to show even a blush of color, you can pick it and let it finish ripening indoors on a sunny windowsill or wrapped in newspaper in a drawer, and you will still get a surprisingly good tomato weeks after the vine itself has been killed by frost. The same logic applies to peppers, winter squash, and pumpkins. Winter squash and pumpkins actually want to be harvested before a hard freeze anyway, since frozen skin can lead to soft spots and rot in storage, so use an early frost warning as your cue to bring in anything that is close to mature rather than gambling on a few more weeks on the vine. Herbs like basil are especially frost tender and offer almost no warning before they collapse, so if a frost is forecast, spend 20 minutes harvesting a big batch of basil to freeze in ice cube trays with a little olive oil, or to dry for the pantry, rather than losing the whole plant to a single cold night. Fruit trees and berry bushes need a slightly different approach than annual vegetables, since you are protecting a long-term investment rather than a single season's crop. Young fruit trees planted within their first year or two are the most vulnerable to an early, unexpected frost, since their bark has not yet fully hardened off for winter. Wrapping the trunk loosely with burlap or a commercial tree wrap can buffer against sudden temperature swings, and this is especially worthwhile for citrus, fig, and other marginally hardy fruit trees being grown a bit outside their ideal zone. For trees or bushes that are actively still holding ripening fruit, such as late-season apples, pears, or grapes, a lightweight frost cloth draped over the canopy on the coldest nights can buy valuable extra time to finish ripening a crop that is almost, but not quite, ready to pick. It also helps to have a simple, repeatable evening routine once frost season arrives in your area. Around mid-afternoon, check the forecast for that night's low temperature. If it is heading toward the mid-30s or lower, take a walk through your garden with covers, cloches, or spare bedsheets in hand, and work from your most tender plants outward. Water any exposed soil deeply if it has been dry, gather your row cover materials, and get everything in place at least an hour or two before sunset so the ground's daytime warmth is sealed in rather than escaping into the evening air. The following morning, set a reminder to uncover everything shortly after sunrise, since a covered garden bed can trap enough heat on a clear, sunny morning to stress or scorch the very plants you were trying to protect the night before. A quick note for beginner gardeners across different parts of the country. Your first frost date varies enormously depending on where you live, and it is worth looking up your specific USDA hardiness zone and average first frost date rather than relying on a general calendar guess. Gardeners in the upper Midwest and Northeast might see their first light frost as early as mid-September, while gardeners in the deep South or coastal Southwest may not see frost until well into November or even later. Keep in mind that microclimates matter too. Low spots in your yard, areas near open fields, or gardens away from buildings tend to get colder faster than spots closer to a house, fence, or tree canopy that offer a bit of shelter and stored heat. If you have lost plants to a surprise frost in past years, take note of exactly which corner of your yard it happened in, and plan to prioritize covering that spot first the next time a frost warning appears. The reassuring truth is that most frost events early in the season are light frosts, not hard freezes, and a little bit of preparation goes an incredibly long way. Keep an eye on your local forecast once nighttime lows start dipping into the 40s. Have your row covers, cloches, or spare sheets ready near the garden, and get in the habit of checking the weather each afternoon during that transitional stretch of early fall. With these simple, low-cost techniques in your back pocket, you can stretch your harvest season by weeks, protect the plants you have nurtured all year, and head into winter with a garden that gave you every last bit of its potential. If you love learning about seasonal flowering plants, vegetables, gardening tips, and nature care, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Nature Nurture Hub, your home for year-round garden inspiration. Let's keep growing together.